All right, year 3. Today we are moving on. So we've done eyes, we've done noses. So guess what's next? Mouths. Okay, so today we're going to start with just simple, okay? We're going to start with just mouth closed, no teeth showing, no real expression. We're going to start with something really simple, and we're going to be focusing on shading. So we're going to be focusing on like the light and the dark so that we can help make our mouths look a little bit 3D. Now, this is something that people always in year 3, when I talk about things like this, fight me about. Doesn't matter if you're a boy, doesn't matter if you're a girl. Everyone has lips. So boys' lips tend to be a little bit thinner and girls' lips tend to be a little bit thicker, but everyone has lips. So when you're drawing a really detailed, realistic mouth, it's going to have lips. Doesn't matter if you're drawing a boy or a girl. So I'm going to show you how I do this. Greylets, please. Paper, please. Easy. Let's go. Okay, so we're going to draw some mouths. Now, like I always say to you, this is not the way to do it. It is not the only way to do this. It is just one way to do it. So I've got my big thick pencil, which I actually don't think I want. I think I want a skinny one. Yes, I do want a skinny one. Okay, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to sharpen it. Okay, so when we think about faces, our face is basically fractions. Okay, so this is something that we'll talk about a little bit more in the future, but your head is basically an upside down egg. Okay, you've got your nose right down the middle, down the other side, right down the middle is where your eyes are. So we divide the face into quarters. Your eyes sit here. Obviously, I'm not going to do this perfect. And this will represent 1/5 of your face. So 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5. So the gap here should be for your nose. Another line. So 1/2, 1/4, 1/4 this way. This is where your nose ends. And it goes up in here and will match up with those lines of your eyes. And then your mouth goes from your iris to your iris in this little quarter down the bottom, okay? So your mouth is actually pretty big on your face. This is sort of just to give you an idea of how it all goes together, okay? So we start by doing quarters. That's where your eyes live. There should be equal spaces amongst all these things. Your nose sniffs this little quarter line, and then you've got your mouth here. Your ears also go in this gap. And this is a rough but pretty accurate way to break down everyone's face, to divide it up into sections. And you just need to remember that your eyes are actually a lot lower than you think because your hair comes down here. So now I'm just wasting time. All right, let's do some mouths. All right, so one way to start by doing your mouth is to do that sort of little cucumber-y shape that I did on the other side, okay? This gives you sort of an area that you need to stay in. You don't have to do it this way, like I said. If you are going to choose this way, you need to do that super light, because that is going to get rubbed out. Then you're basically going to have a line down the middle, and that is going to be where your two lips meet. Like I said earlier, we're just going to do a straight down, plain, simple, looking straight ahead, no expression, no teeth, mouth. But this line is not actually straight in our mouth. So we might have a little bit at the end that curls up to give us a little bit of a smile, and a little bit of plumpness in the middle. And then it comes down. It's kind of like a very shallow, barely noticeable, wavy line. Okay, so this is the middle. Like I said, I'm doing all these lines super light because I'm going to rub a lot of them out. Now, if you want really thick, fat, juicy lips, you can do big, fat, juicy ones. I'm going to do pretty tame ones today. So I'm going to start in the middle. And this is my line of symmetry. So if I folded this in half, I would want it to match and be symmetrical. Just like if we folded the eyes down. So I kind of make like a little bit of a mountain. I leave a little bit sticking out at the end. And it just sort of tapers off really gently to the end. So I can already see that this one needs to curve just a little bit more. And I'm pretty happy with that. Then we do the bottom one, same thing. We want it to be symmetrical and it comes out from here. So it kind of goes in a little bit. Like I said, I'm not going to do big, juicy, thick lips. I'm going to do kind of tame ones, but I always end up doing thick ones anyway, even when I'm trying not to. Like, these are pretty thick. All right, there's my basic shape. So now I'm going to carefully try and rub that cucumber shape I drew out without trying to rub out too many more of the lines I want to keep. That line of symmetry down the middle. All right, and then that gives me the chance to fix things up a little bit. So I can already see I need to round it out a little bit more. But overall, I'm pretty happy with that. Ooh, I'm actually very happy with that. Okay, so now we need to think about the areas that are going to be light and the areas that are going to be dark. So where your lips join is going to be the darkest point because this top lip makes a shadow where it touches the bottom lip. And then the corners will be a little bit darker as well. I'm not going to go too crazy dark here today. I'm just going to go pretty light, just a little bit of a shadow. Teeny, teeny, tiny. And then I'm going to do the same, but even lighter around the bottom edge because there's no shadow being cast there. And as I said, this is just how I do it. Doesn't make it right. It's just one way of doing things. Now I like to leave a little bit in the middle that is like basically white, still kind of like a reflection like we did with the eyes. Just helps give it a little bit more dimension and makes it a little bit more realistic, a little bit more 3D. This is one of those things that I really enjoy taking the time and being patient with. So that's why I sort of go over things a few times. I don't just do it in one go really dark to start off with. I build it up layer by layer. And I do it slowly and I take my time. And that way if I do something that I'm not happy with, it's all right. I can take it back really easily. Now underneath here is going to be a little bit darker too, where your lips touch your sort of chin, because that bottom lip casts a shadow. But the tricky thing is that we want our lips not to blend in with that shadow. So this is where doing things slowly and really paying attention to what you're doing and making changes as you need to is actually really important. So I've made that little bit a bit darker and I'm now going to go under, just do a really light sort of little bit of a shadow, and I don't want my lips to blend into that. Just a soft little shadowy bit. Nice. Maybe a little bit darker in the middle. Lovely. And then I'm going to do the same thing at the top. I like to start in the middle. I'm not really sure why. It's just something I do. And I'm going to leave a really light bit along the lip as well, so that it really helps my other lip to pop and stand out away from each other. I didn't like that line. So see how I'm just leaving a little white section right next to the lip. I'm going to give it a bit of a blend. If you want to be really fancy, you can even do some really, really light lines. So light you can barely notice them. And they need to have a little bit of a curve to them like the eyelashes did, just to give your lip a little bit of texture. And then you can blend it. And these lines would always come out from the middle and have a bit of a flick to them. Then I can start thinking about those other details which we even started to do when we looked at the nose. So my finger's a bit dirty now, I think. Yup. And we've got these lines here, and that all connects to our nose. Yay, done. Not too tricky this week, hopefully. All right, good luck with drawing your mouths today, year 3. I'm sure you'll be able to smash it. Have a go drawing it multiple times. Like I always tell you, the only way to improve is practice, 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 please. Drawing one mouth is not going to improve your skills that much. It's all about practicing a few times. All right, I'll talk soon.